Before I begin, I want to start off with a story. About last week, I was getting a haircut, and I saw a group of boys, and they had Knox uniforms on. And so being a Knox old boy and graduating in 2020, I was curious. I went up to them and I said, "Hey, what year are you guys in?" And they said they were in year 9. They asked me, what grade I was in when I graduated, and I said I was 2020. And then they said, "Oh, so you're an unk." Apparently I'm an unk now. Today, we are going to talk about courage. I already see some boys like, "Oh my gosh, another one of these courage talks. School values this, school values that. What time is lunch again? I just put the fries in the bag, bro." I get it, okay? I see you, I understand you. And I was in exactly your position as well, not too long ago. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was at Knox, I did not care about the school values at all. I didn't. This was me. In year 7, at Knox, I was 13 years old. And I'm standing next to my mum and my dad. And the one thing you need to know about my parents is that they migrated to Australia from China just to give me a better education than they had. You see, my mum, she never went to university. And my dad's side of his family are all doctors and lawyers. So you can imagine, as soon as I put on this uniform, there's already so much pressure to perform. What's crazy is that whenever I visit my dad's side of his family, my grandparents, every time for family dinners or Chinese New Year, the first thing they would say to me, the very first thing in Chinese, they would say, "你什么时候毕业?" And for those of you who can't speak Chinese, it translates to, "When are you graduating?" I was 13 years old. I had barely started school and they're already asking me when I'm graduating. Now, to add on top of that, I'm also the eldest child in my family, and being the eldest child, you have to pave the way for your siblings. If you're the eldest child in the room, you know exactly how that feels. And during my time at Knox, I wasn't anyone special. I wasn't someone outstanding. I wasn't a standout student. I didn't do a ton of, I wasn't a prefect. I wasn't a leader. Wasn't on the leadership team. I didn't do a ton of co-curricular activities, except for swimming. And out of my entire year group of 360 boys, I only knew 6 or 7 of them. All swimmers. And every morning, when we would walk through the gates of Knox, we would see this building. And on that building are 5 words carved on it: faith, wisdom, integrity, compassion, and courage. Now here's the problem. Most people, including myself, for most of my time at Knox, have no idea what courage actually is. I just knew that word was, it's not for me, it's for the prefects, it's for the rugby guys, it's for the popular guys. It's not for me. I even thought some people are born with this skill and some people aren't. I have to bring you back to when I was in year 8. In year 8, I went through something that maybe some of you are going through right now. I had really bad skin. My pimples were breaking out. The boys would tease me throughout my time at Knox. And it got to a point where year 12 formal came around, and I had somehow managed to convince this absolutely beautiful girl to come with me. This is her. Right? We partied and we danced really hard, and we got our photos taken towards the end of the night. And I remember thinking to myself that night, "Oh my gosh, what a great night. I had so much fun." A few weeks later, I'm scrolling on Instagram, and I see that she'd posted it. And of course, at first I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's just so beautiful." And then I looked at myself. She had completely edited out my pimples and whitened my teeth. Now, I have to tell you what was going in my head at that moment. I was thinking to myself, no, is it really that bad? Is this how people see me? I didn't go to school for an entire week after that, just to avoid being seen. The pimples would be the very first thing I think about every time I see my friends, every time I meet someone new. I became extremely self-conscious. 5 years. 5 years of walking past the word courage every single morning at Knox. And by the end of school, I still had no idea what it meant. All I knew was that I was just tired of hiding. I'm not just talking about my pimples. The hiding showed up throughout my time at Knox, in class, when the teacher would ask me a question and I knew the answer. I wouldn't raise my hand because what if I got the question wrong? Showed up outside of class too. My parents put me in piano lessons I never wanted, Saturday tutoring, sports I never wanted to play. The violin my mum picked for me sat on my table every single day, untouched. None of it was mine. All of it was chosen for me. And I never had the courage to say so. By the time I left Knox, hiding wasn't just a habit. It became who I was. And so I went to university and I picked a degree that I knew wasn't for me from the very first week. Biomedical engineering. Yes! 5 years of biomedical engineering. 5 years. And I want to make one thing clear, because my parents, they didn't force me to do this degree. They didn't. I chose it myself. Because by then, I'd already learned to choose something that they'd be proud of before they ask any questions. It was a high IQ play. Now, I don't tell you this to disobey your parents. I absolutely love my parents. I don't tell you this to walk away from your studies. I'm telling you this to be honest with yourself. And eventually, when you can, be honest with your parents. Because the version of you they're hoping for doesn't exist if it isn't actually you. Now, I heard this quote, I heard it recently, that stuck with me. And I want to share it with you. It's from a famous psychologist. He says, "The greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of its parents." For me, that burden was piano lessons I never wanted. For me, that burden was a degree that my parents didn't choose, but I chose because I knew it would make them proud. Now, going back, remember how I had 360 boys in my year and I knew 6 of them? They were all my friends. We sat together for recess and lunch. We played Clash Royale together. We had our own clan going on. This was before phones were banned, so you guys can't do that now. And we had so much fun. But here's what I want you to notice. 6 out of 360. There were 350 other boys I barely spoke to, I didn't even speak to. There's roughly 30 boys in your house right now that you've barely spoken to. I mean, I never had the courage to speak to any of them. Why would I? I had my 6. The thing is, the problem wasn't that my friend group was bad. I loved my friends. The problem was I never looked outside my bubble. I never met the boys who would have loved the same things I loved. I never met the boys who could have had stories I wanted to hear. I never met the boys who could have made every single day of my Knox experience better. They were just sitting 20 seats away in this same hall 10 years ago, and I just never said hello. And I tell you this because I don't want you to wake up at my age one day, at 23 years old, and realize you don't know who you are. You don't know what you actually like doing. You don't know how to make a friend outside of a classroom, a swim group, a band, just because your teacher, your swim instructor, your coach put you next to people. I know how that feels because I am that person. And I want something different for you. You see, I don't regret that many things from Knox. I don't regret the marks I got. I don't regret the engineering or the piano or any of that stuff. But what I do regret are the boys I never met. More boys to text when good things happen. More boys to sit with when your usual group is away or they're sick. More options. That's it. That's what I want. And you see, the only thing that's going to be in the way of you and that thing is whether you're brave enough to introduce yourself first. However, there's going to be one thing that's going to be in the way of introducing yourself first. There's going to be one thing. And that thing stopped me from raising my hand up in class even when I knew the answer. That thing stopped me from going to school when I had the pimples. And do you know what that one thing is? It's fear. So rather than me telling you all about fear, I'm going to get you all to experience fear. I want you all to look to the boy next to you. Look to the boy next to you. Everyone looking, holding eye contact. Don't look away, just looking to the boy next to you. No smiling, no talking, nothing, just looking. No talking. I'm going to count down for 10 seconds, and all you're going to do is just look. Are you ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, you can look away. Okay, thank you, boys. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. How did that feel? Please, shout out some words. How that felt. Intimidating? Easy? Hang on. Please, quiet. Hands up, boys, hands up. Too many voices. Yes. Funny? Yes? Yes?
I intimidated him.
Intimidated him, okay. What else is there? Yes? Embarrassing. One more, yes? It was tough. It's all that fear. So how do we turn this fear? How do we turn it into something more useful? Something like courage. You see, fear requires one extra ingredient for it to turn into courage. And you all showed us what that ingredient was. It's action. You all felt that fear. When you looked into the other boy's eyes, you all felt that fear, and you did it anyways. And in the process, you became courageous. Because courageous people, they don't do things in the absence of fear. They feel that fear, and they do it anyways. That's it. The biggest lie I believed my whole time at Knox was that some people are born courageous and some people aren't. No, that's a big lie. What it means is that courage is a muscle. It's a muscle that you can train. It's a muscle that you can build by doing small, scary things on purpose over and over and over and over again until your body learns that scary doesn't mean dangerous. And courage looks different for everyone. For me, what's crazy is that I decided to choose a career in public speaking. And most people fear public speaking more than death. For you, it looks different, so I ask you, is it courage to ask or answer a question in class even when you don't know the answer, or even if you think your question might be dumb? Is it courage to go up to a group of boys that you haven't really talked to and say, hey, can I join you guys and sit with you guys? Or is it courage to try a co-curricular activity you've never done before? Da Vinci decathlon, choir, house dodgeball, badminton. Yes, it's all courage. It's all the exact same muscle as mine. And I know what some of you boys are thinking. You're thinking, oh, Shane, I don't want to ditch my mates though. I love my friends. I don't want to ditch my mates. And I'm not asking you to ditch your friends. Your friends are important. Your home base is important. But you shouldn't let your home base be your ceiling. You shouldn't let the 10 boys you sit with at lunch every single day be the only 10 boys you'll ever know. Add, don't replace. And here's what happens when you keep on building this courage muscle. Here's where it can bring you. This is me playing the piano in the middle of the city. The same piano that my mum forced me to play when I was 6 years old. It was so scary. Because I felt that fear. I felt, what if I make a mistake? What if no one stops and listens to me? What if no one gives me money? It's true. I felt all that fear, and I did it anyways. And this is me again. Hitchhiking in another country, in America, going from San Francisco to Los Angeles, holding up a cardboard sign, waiting for people to pick me up off the streets. I felt that fear again. What if no one picks me up and I'm just stranded here? Oh my gosh, what if I get kidnapped? Oh my gosh, what if I die? I felt all this fear, and I did it anyways. Now, I don't encourage you to do any of this. I'm just showing you the most extreme versions of me taking action on something that scared me. And you see, courage, it isn't just a school value at Knox. It's not just a core value. It's a value that lives on beyond school as well. So when you build this muscle at 13 years old, you decide who you become. You use the same muscle that decides who you become at 23, at 33, at 43, and so on and so forth. And eventually I did this. This is a night I stood on stage in front of a group of strangers, a bunch of strangers, and my parents, and I said out loud for the first time that I won't be using my engineering degree. Now, I've been preparing to say that line since my very first year of university, and what got me to finally say that was courage. The ordinary Knox boy in the photos, the one who missed a complete week of school because of his pimples, the one who only knew 6 people in his entire year group. He didn't become someone different. He just decided to say yes to things while it still scared him. And so in a moment after this year meeting, the bell is going to ring, and all 360 of you are going to head out for lunch. Most of you are going to sit in exactly the same spot, with exactly the same people, eating exactly the same way. And honestly, that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from today, is that courage grows through reps. So I challenge you. When that bell goes for lunch, I want you to think of someone in your year group. It can be someone in your class, it can be someone in your house, it can be someone in line in the canteen when you're waiting to pay for food. I want you to think of that person, and I want you to go up to that person and say these next 6 words. Hey, I'm blank. What's your name? Introduce yourself. The thing is, all 360 of you have just heard the exact same talk from me. Every single year 8 boy at Knox has just been asked to be more welcoming and more inviting. So when you go up to a group of boys and when you go up to someone and introduce yourself, they're not going to get caught off guard. Today is the easiest day to be courageous at Knox. Use it. Because the scary thing isn't introducing yourself to someone new. That's not scary. The scariest thing is graduating from Knox one day and realizing you spent 5 years surrounded by hundreds and hundreds of people that you never properly spoken to. And I don't want that for you. Because your closest, best, lifelong friends, they might just be sitting 20 seats away from you in this same hall right now. And you just haven't said hello yet. Thank you.